Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. It is Wednesday, February 26th, 2025, and we are not recording from a flying car. No, we don't have anything like that. Instead, we have the swastikars that are rolling around and breaking down every 5 minutes. So wonderful. What a great future we have stumbled into. Nonetheless, I am going to talk about some of the stories of the day of this wonderful dystopia that we find ourselves in. For one, we are going to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Taylor Greene. Oops, did I say that? Oh, uh-oh. I did an oopsie.
Oh no!
No. Marjorie Taylor Greene basically hating veterans. So that's lovely. Why does she hate the troops? Why does she hate the troops? We're going to talk about that. We then have, of course, the House Republicans trying to silence black people. Yes, black people. For, of course, correctly pointing out that Donald Trump is a grifter. We have how Donald Trump's DEI mandate, I guess, or order against DEI is affecting his own voters. Shocker. Fox News is now apparently concerned about measles. Oh, the irony on that story. And you know what? I'm going to talk about Argentina. Argentina President Javier Milei, a friend of Elon Musk, might be in a little bit of trouble. Uh-oh. So anyway, that's the show today. That's what we're going to talk about. So without further ado, we will dive into it. So, before, please like and share the stream if you haven't already. Hell, I even forgot to share the stream. So, oops, my bad. I'm going to have to do that now over on my Blue Sky. You know, the Blue Sky, which everyone should be following me on. That whole thing. And yes, I will absolutely give you the handle for that. That is, of course, let me look. Jeff Waldorf, Bluesky. .com. So jeffwaldorf.bluesky.com. Is this really live? It is. It is, RB. Welcome. For those of you, of course, who have signed up for membership, over on our Patreon page, you can get the recording of the live show anytime you want it in audio format. So if you want to podcast it, that's awesome. You want to download it, you want to, throw it in your MP3 player or whatever. People still make those? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. Okay. I know because most of the music I stream on my phone, but, they do have those MP3 players. And you can, download podcasts, music, whatever, and put it on there. Okay, that's awesome. Technology, isn't it great? Technology. But, I still haven't figured out how to do the Patreon. Hey, like if you're on your phone with Patreon, you could probably stream it from there. But you have to have the internet connection. Need an actual Blue Sky link below. It actually is in the description of this video. So it is in the description. I put it, at least I put it in there along with all the stories, the links to the articles that I'm going to be talking about today. So I'm kind of ahead of you, at least a little bit on there. Okay, just a little bit. Not too far. Not too far. Okay, so with that, why don't we start out with Marjorie Taylor Greene and how much she hates veterans. And maybe even herself. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene ironically attacked federal workers as not having real jobs. Here she is during a House committee hearing.
You can protest all you want outside of departments of this government. You can protest all you want, but the American people disagree with you. You're protecting the bureaucracy. The bureaucracy is not a business. Those are not real jobs producing federal revenue. By the way, they're consuming taxpayer dollars. Those jobs are paid for by the American tax people who work real jobs, earn real income, pay federal taxes, and then pay these federal employees. Federal employees do not deserve their jobs. Federal employees do not deserve their paychecks. And these are jobs that can be fired at will.
Does she not realize that she fits her own description of not having a quote-unquote real job? I mean, but what's a real job? Well, it's the private sector only. Private sector only. That's the only time you can actually count someone as having a real job, according to Marjorie Taylor Greene, and not just Greene, but Laura Ingraham and all these other Fox News ghouls, right? And so, yeah. Now, here's the thing, though. It's pretty mind-blowing that she would literally describe herself in that, okay? Hey, Marge, what do you do? What's your job? Why don't you have a real job? Why do you deserve your paycheck? Look, congressional members get $174,000 a year, okay? And plus benefits, by the way. Like paid travel and housing costs. Plus, members of Congress with at least 5 years of service or federal employment are also eligible for a generous pension that pays about 2 to 3 times more than pensions offered to similarly salaried workers in the private sector. Sounds pretty sweet, right? And that's not all. There's a lesser-known congressional benefit, which is the practice of leaving death gratuity payments to the heirs of members who die while serving in office. So I guess if you're wondering why all these Democratic politicians, for example, die in office, okay, well, this would be why. This would be why. So they could get their, benefit, death gratuity payments to members of their families. So that's great. Now, this is equal to a member's yearly congressional salary. The payments are provided regardless of how wealthy the deceased lawmaker was. From 2000 to 2021, those payments actually cost about $5 million to the taxpayer, okay, according to the nonprofit research group. So we got this freeloader over here, Marjorie Taylor Greene, talking about how she does not deserve her own paycheck. Maybe we should make that a reality. Maybe we should take away her pay. Hell, maybe we should make her unemployed. Have her go get a real job, since she feels so very strongly about all of this. Okay? But here's the thing, though, all right? To get to a serious point. Government jobs are real jobs. Federal employees pay federal taxes, okay? And they provide critical services, okay? Some of which the private sector could not function without. And yet, this lady, calling them all moochers, okay? You're moochers, taken from the government taxpayer, sucking up the dole. Okay, right. Now, I mentioned veterans. It's important to note that when we're talking about who works for the federal government, you have to note that about 30% of the federal workforce is veterans. So the question is, hey, Marge, why do you hate veterans so much? Why are you telling veterans to go get a real job? What's wrong with you? Why do you think the people who served our country do not deserve a job? That's what you were saying. People like Mike McCons, right? Who was an Army veteran who served as a disaster recovery coordinator at the Small Business Administration based in Anchorage, Alaska. Now, he was one of the people that was let go by Elon Musk's illegal purge of government employees. In fact, McCons told an NPR affiliate, "They locked me out of all my systems. The only place I've gotten any help is online, on frickin' Reddit." So yeah, there's a Reddit shout out. Okay. Now you might think, wait, well, why doesn't he just get a real job, right? Or why doesn't he just collect unemployment until he can find a real job? Of course, you won't hear Republicans talk about, oh, you can get unemployment. Sorry. Well, here's the thing: he can't right now. He can't get unemployment. Why? The government has yet to send him all the required documents he needs to claim to file an unemployment claim. He also hasn't received any official word on when his family's health insurance plan is set to expire. Now that, it turns out, is pretty important. Healthcare, right? His wife, Laura, is a cancer survivor who requires high-priced medication for an autoimmune disorder. So now McCann says, quote, "I've never felt more betrayed in my entire life." You serve your country, right? You come back and there's a job in the government. A lot of veterans take jobs in the government. And now these idiots are like, let's get rid of all the jobs for these veterans. Oops. Now, Laura added, just the disregard for the impact that this has on not only the employee, but his whole family is astounding. That said, Marjorie don't care, okay? She thinks this guy and everybody like him, everybody works for the government, it's just they're consuming taxpayer dollars. There is no benefit whatsoever. They're not real jobs. Government should be like a business. But government is not supposed to run like a business. We pay taxes for services that the government provides through government workers. It's also can provide a jobs program, okay, for a lot of workers who maybe can't get private sector jobs, or maybe there are not any private sector jobs that are available that are, that you can actually live on, okay? Now, look, you could make the argument that, hey, as taxpayers, we're not exactly getting the bang for our buck, right? Yeah, no, I have a great conversation about that, right? I think that too much of our money gets wasted on moochers, like Elon Musk, okay, and his billions of dollars in government contracts. The only reason Musk is so rich is because he's been the beneficiary of daddy government, okay? Or how about all the billions of dollars we've wasted on the jet that barely works? How about the billions of dollars in oil subsidies we give right now? A lot of waste there. But civil servants, that is not where the waste is. And certainly not where the fraud and abuse exists, okay? If you want to find any of that stuff, then just ask Marjorie Taylor Greene to hold up a mirror. Moochers like Raytheon. Exactly. These defense contractors. Oh, there's not enough coffee in the world for days like this, where I actually have to do the news. That's every day. Okay. Let's move on to fun video segments. Recently, House Republicans melted down and threatened to have Representative Maxwell Frost forcibly removed from the chamber after he referred to President Donald Trump as a grifter.
You want to talk about making cuts to things like Medicaid, which, by the way, over 35% of all the children in this country are covered under Medicaid. Over 100,000 people in my district are covered under Medicaid. People like the grifter-in-chief Trump and President Musk are openly using their public offices to enrich themselves to the tune of billions of dollars. So if we want to look at waste, fraud, and abuse, which I'm down to do, Why is there complete silence on the other side of the aisle about looking at the complete grifter that is the president of the United States and the richest man on the earth, which is looking into things like Social Security and different things like that? Why don't we investigate the real corruption?
Hold off. Point of order.
I reclaim my time.
Point of order.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Hold off.
I love that. Okay, hold up, whoa. You're talking bad about Donald Trump. Yeah, you're calling him the grifter in chief. No lies detected there. That's exactly what he's doing. They are grifting. Look, here's the thing. The GOP bill that was endorsed by Donald Trump cuts taxes on the rich to the tune of $4.5 trillion. Okay, now, this is going to primarily help the extremely wealthy people. Okay, while, cutting Medicaid and SNAP for poor people. Okay, $880 billion in Medicaid. Okay, over the next 10 years. That's what they're looking to cut. $230 billion in food stamps, literally taking food out of the mouths of children. Okay, in order to fund these tax cuts for the rich. That's grifting. That's what they're doing. Okay, so yeah, no lies detected. All right. No lies detected. And not only that, but while Doge is cutting, even though they don't have the authority to do so, billions, okay? They're attempting to cut billions of dollars and are getting rid of people at work, in the federal workforce and targeting agencies that could regulate Elon Musk's own business interests, okay? Which, by the way, he has received billions of dollars in taxpayer subsidies for those businesses. But, Republicans, they don't want to talk about that. Oh, no. We can't talk about that. No. Nope.
Oh, no!
No. Instead, they're going to try to silence Maxwell Frost for pointing out what is a statement of truth, okay? This is after attempting to get him to apologize for disparaging the president.
Would you like to revise your remark with respect to improperly identifying the President of the United States?
I'll say President Musk and grifter and cheap Trump.
All right.
Grifter and cheap
Hey,
Trump.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Wait a second.
If I wanted to challenge someone to a fight, they would know it. Thank you.
You're going to maybe revise the disparaging comment about the president because that's supposed to be our decorum here. And
It is supposed to be. President Musk and the President of the United States, Donald Trump, who is engaged in grifting of the American people, often use their public offices to enrich themselves. Someone on the other side was just asking, how would you feel if you called someone else from the
hold
other?
off, Mr. Frost. Hold off. If you're willing to request unanimous consent to withdraw the disparaging the comments about President Trump, I guess you can disparage Elon Musk if you want.
I will withdraw
cannot-
grifter in chief. I will say the president's grifting because you spent the last 2 years
All
like
right.
President
Take
Biden.
down
was corrupt.
his words.
I can say that Trump is
motion-
grifting. What I will withdraw
member-
is calling him
So what-
grifter in chief.
So I love always like, no, I'm still going to call Donald Trump a grifter. I will remove grifter in chief, but I'm still going to call him a grifter. I ain't taking that back. Okay. I love that. Look, both Donald Trump and Elon Musk are making tons of money off Trump being in the White House. Okay. How is that not grifting? I mean, they're literally he's using the office to hawk merchandise. Okay. How is he not a grifter? No, he's totally a grifter. Okay. Frost is right on. Okay. He is 100% correct. Now, the last video I have here actually starts with Representative Jasmine Crockett, who pointed out some of the hypocrisy of the members of the House. And of course, she immediately gets silenced. And then Frost gets threatened.
Would you like to revise?
Let me get the right video here.
Ms. Crockett, insulting people's appearance as well as trying to fight them isn't a problem.
Point of order. It's a yes or
But
no.
we're so
Yes,
sad
No.
Yes or
Order.
no? Yes or
that
no?
our
Order.
Yes
our
or no?
little
Order.
leader.
Just skip her.
We're so
Skip
sad.
her.
Order.
Skip her. You're
My
skip her.
voter.
Go to the
Order.
next one. Go to the next.
The
Miss
MSNBC
Randall.
anchor.
Go to the next one. Don't count that. Go to the next one.
Miss Randall votes no.
I want to say it's despicable that this committee is going to silence me for bringing
The
up
gentleman's
Frost.
words have been
Mr.
taken
Frost,
down.
no.
He's not
Mr.
permitted to
Frost.
speak for the rest of the hearing.
making millions of dollars.
Mr. Frost, Mr. Ranking Member, I'm going to have the Sergeant at Arms remove him if he doesn't refrain.
No, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. You know what? We're gonna call the cops on you. That's what that was. We're gonna call the cops, the Sergeant of Arms, to remove you if you don't shut your mouth. And you know what he was thinking. An uppity N-word. That's what he was calling it. Okay, that's probably what he wanted to call Maxwell Frost, as well as Crockett. Okay, I mean, notice how it's the two black members that have been most likely to speak up and speak out, which is great. And then, of course, they were immediately silenced and threatened by the Republican majority. At one point, you had Nancy Mace out there. Nancy Mace is one of the worst people in Congress. Okay, one of the most self-centered, obsessed type of people, right? You heard her yell out, if I wanted to challenge someone to a fight, they would know it. What? What is that even in reference to? Like, what were your reasons for shouting that out, Nancy? Like, what is wrong with you? What isn't wrong with Nancy Mace? Okay? But obviously, there's a ton of hypocrisy here, especially when it comes to James Comer, right? Who, remember, in an earlier fight between Marjorie Taylor Greene and Jasmine Crockett, okay, Comer was like, I'm going to take Marjorie Greene's side, even though Marjorie Greene had denigrated and attacked the physical appearance of Jasmine Crockett, okay? But no, we're going to take Marjorie Taylor Greene's side. That's right. And we're going to silence Jasmine Crockett when she's defending herself, okay? And not only that, but Comer had also disparaged the president, okay? Remember, he spent about the last 4 years calling President Joe Biden corrupt, right? Over, Ukraine, Biden crime family. Really, where's your evidence, bro? I don't have it. I actually don't have it. But you know what? Actually,
Just forget about the evidence.
forget about it. I don't have any evidence. But you know what? Still, he's corrupt. That's right. I know the irony of talking about corruption when our entire electoral political system is based on corruption, where you had Elon Musk giving $277 million to get Donald Trump elected. But that is not corruption. Right. Sure. But yeah, I mean, how dare you disparage the president by calling him a grifter? Can't do that. Look, I know we should be expecting hypocrisy from Republicans because that's what they do constantly. I also know that we shouldn't expect them to care about being hypocrites because it's obvious that they don't. Okay. And that's why stuff like this plays out in Congress every single day. I'd love to see Crockett wipe the floor with MTG. That would be something. All right. Moving on. Let's go to DEI. Oh boy. In one of his first executive orders, President Donald Trump banned diversity, equity, and inclusion across the government, which has led to an almost comic, book villain level of repression across federal agencies. Now, that said, it has also harmed Donald Trump's own voters. So here we go. Here come the leopards. All right. Now, for example, in Clarksburg, West Virginia, where you have lead pipes that have caused elevated levels of lead in some of the children's blood, okay, which is not good. Not good to have elevated lead levels, okay? Now, in 2023, the Environmental Justice Division, we're already running into that problem, right? Environmental justice, we're going to have to get rid of that. And that's exactly what Trump is doing. The division of that division of the EPA introduced a new program designed to increase lead testing for local children and families so that officials could catch elevated lead levels early and prevent long-term health complications. So the EPA partnered with state agencies, okay, that are pretty cash-strapped, to buy kits that could measure lead levels in children with just a simple finger stick. All right. They also gave out gift cards to incentivize testing and offer testing opportunities in offices where people could sign up for other various government benefits. Now, the $150,000 program raised testing rates in Harrison County, West Virginia, from about 8% to 41%, okay, for children. Okay, this is something that benefits children, okay? Wow, that's a huge increase from 8% to 41%. That's according to Camilla McMillan-Hout, Director of Women, Infant, and Children Nutrition in 6 West Virginia counties. Children with high levels of lead were then targeted for health interventions like dietary changes that would reduce their risk of long-term problems like developmental delays, increased aggression, and low academic achievement. Okay? Now, that said, thanks to Donald Trump's DEI purge, this program, the funding for this program, has essentially been frozen, okay? And not just there, by the way. The proposed expansion of this same lead testing program to states like Ohio happens to be threatened as well. Now, an EPA staffer connected to the initiative was put on administrative leave in early February as part of the Trump administration's purge of federal government workers. That person told Time magazine that they were pulled into a meeting and basically was told that, hey, you got 15 minutes to get your crap and get out. Log off to your, log out of your work email, get your stuff, and go. An additional 167 members of the EPA's Office of Environmental Justice and External Civil Rights were put on administrative leave, according to the agency. Many after receiving emails that said that they were identified as spending more than half their time on environmental justice initiatives. Because, we can't do that. We are not allowed to do environmental justice. That sounds too woke. Ah, right. Look, here's the thing, though. Environmental justice is good for everyone. But apparently, these right-wingers, they hear that and they go, no! Left-wing radicalism. They're green news scams, Marxist NGOs. We got to get rid of them. When in reality, it's testing children for lead. Yeah. Now, as Time notes, many of the environmental justice programs targeted by the new administration staff cuts and funding freezes do not benefit minorities or left-leaning environmental groups. This is the irony, right? This is according to Adam Ortiz, who until January served as the EPA's regional administration for Region Number 3, which includes Pennsylvania, Virginia, and West Virginia. Often, they help poor white communities in conservative areas, places that overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump. Yes, that is where the funding is disappearing.
Whoopsie.
Clarksburg, a beneficiary of the West Virginia lead testing program, is a former manufacturing hub that is 90% white and has a poverty rate of 23.2%, about double the national average. Harrison County, where it is located, voted for Trump by a margin of 40% in 2024. These are communities, according to Jacob Israel Hanna, CEO of the Coalfield Development Corporation, a nonprofit that does workforce development in 21 counties in the state, said that had the most people that had the most hope in this administration and are now feeling the most suffering. Of course they are. Once again, the leopards eating your face. That's what they voted for. Well, I didn't think the leopard's going to eat my face. Okay. I voted to end the DEI because I thought it was black people. Turns out it's mostly white people. Interesting. Now, Coalfield Development had won nearly $700 million in federal funding for projects across the state. Over half of its budget came from federal grants in the past few years from the Biden administration, as they had funneled unprecedented amounts of funding to Appalachia. Yeah, but nearly all that money has been frozen by federal spending pauses targeting DEI, environmental justice, and clean energy initiatives. Understand that these red states are the ones that Joe Biden actually helped the most. They're the ones that have been receiving more federal spending. And they turned around and they voted for Donald Trump. I mean, billions of dollars went to these red states to upgrade, to build infrastructure, okay? And again, these people, they voted for the guy who literally campaigned, tear it all down, and to stick the money in his own pocket. And you know what? The voters seem to be pretty cool with that because at least none of it went to those minorities. As the Time article notes, while some of the beneficiaries of environmental justice projects have been low-income communities of color in cities, others are struggling white communities and Appalachia. The Biden administration mandated that about 40% of many of its climate and clean energy funds flow to disadvantaged communities that are marginalized by underinvestment and overburdened by pollution. And of course, a lot of that actually happens to be rural white communities. Oops. They also set aside $500 million for Appalachian Community Capital to launch a green bank for rural America that would have prioritized investments in 582 counties across the region. The important thing to understand about all the grants that the EPA is at the EPA is that they prioritized reaching the communities most overburdened by pollution, says Zaylen Hoover, who was until recently the director of implementation at the agency, overseeing $100 billion in funding. Hoover says in every state, there's a wide range of communities receiving funding that includes Alaska Native communities, rural communities in the Southeast and Gulf Coast, and places across the country that have disproportionately high energy costs. I don't know, like maybe in Texas. But you know what? All of that is now on hold. But wait, there's more. Many of the programs whose funding was paused or whose federal staff were placed on administrative leave were focused on providing access to clean drinking water and functioning wastewater treatment plants. Remember, there's a lot of places, especially in the South, in the rural South, that don't even have clean wastewater, okay? Much less drinking water. So, I mean, way to shoot yourself in the foot there, okay? But I guess you're a rugged Merc and you don't need that anyway. Oh, it's clean water, clean wastewater. All right. Now, in Pennington Gap, Virginia, which is located in a county where 86% of voters supported Trump in 2024, the future of a grant to demolish an asbestos-filled grocery store issued through the EPA's Environmental Justice Collaborative Problem-Solving Cooperative Agreement Program is also now in question. Well, that's okay. I guess you could just go and sit in that asbestos-filled grocery store because it ain't getting demolished and it ain't getting replaced. Where's the free market on this one? Oh, right. They won't do it. They won't touch it. Of course not, because they don't touch anything that doesn't involve a profit. Okay? Whereas that leaves the government to do these very essential things that are paid for by taxpayer funding. But of course, you know, can't have that. Can't do that. course not. Other federal funding to Appalachian Voices that has been frozen includes money to close up abandoned mines, support communities battered by flooding, and monitor air quality. So understand that these programs and this money is vital, and mostly, for the most part, went to poor white people in red states, Trump voters. So congratulations. If you voted for Trump, you played yourself. No wonder he likes the poorly educated. Y'all were too busy hating DEI without realizing that you are the beneficiaries of the most DEI.
Whoopsie.
That's all I got to say on that one. They are getting what they asked for. There is more FAFO than can be counted. Oh, and we've barely just begun. Barely just begun. All right. Nope. Did I forget that? No, I didn't. We are actually already on the measles story, which, damn, that's fast. All right. As the measles outbreak in Texas continues to get worse, Fox News, a purveyor of anti-vax propaganda, is suddenly concerned about low vaccination rates.
Look, Bill, vaccine confidence is at an all-time low, and we know why, because vaccines were pushed on people. What I do is I have a conversation with people in my office, and I explain what vaccines are for, how they work, why we need them, the way I just did. We got to meet people where they live. That's the way back to vaccine confidence.
So that was Fox News medical contributor Mark Siegel. At first he was talking about, well, we need to have more people vaccinated. The measles, it's not going to get stopped without the vaccine. Yes, that's true. And he also pointed out how correctly that vaccine confidence is at an all-time low. Yes, but then he goes on to say, well, it's because of mandates. Mandates. You know that most of the people who complained about mandates, the vaccine mandates, didn't actually live in a place where they had mandates. Okay. A lot of areas, blue states, big cities, they're the ones who actually had the mandates and enforced them. Whereas you had places like Florida that as soon as they could, were like, no, we're going to opt out. Okay. We're not going to do the mandates. We're not going to do anything like that. Come on and go ahead and come to our state and get your sick on. All right. That's it. That's what happened. Okay. Not only that, but Siegel conveniently leaves out the fact that his own network, Fox News, peddled anti-vax conspiracy theories and rhetoric to their own viewers. Yeah, that was a network. Siegel himself, by the way, had personally suggested that COVID-19 was no more dangerous than the flu. It's just the flu, everybody. That's it. It's just the flu. Well, China flu. That's what it is. Oh, okay. Great. But now this guy's whining about why don't people believe in vaccines anymore? Why aren't they getting vaccinated? What did you expect? I mean, your rhetoric has consequences. That's what happens. You and your network, you built this little problem. Okay, it's your fault. Numerous studies have found that much of the right-wing opposition to vaccination lays squarely at the feet of Fox News and right-wing media. Okay, Colorado University Boulder study conducted in the spring of 2022 found that people who get their news from an ideologically diverse array of sources were more likely to get vaccinated. That makes sense. You're getting your information from all sorts of different people. You're getting factual information from the lab, and you're getting opinions and stuff about freedom from the right. All right, and this is regardless of somebody's political affiliation, right? if you have more access to information and you take in these different varieties of sources, then you're more able to make an informed position, an informed, decision, okay, and what your position is. That said, the rate plummeted among those who primarily consume Fox News and other MAGA media sources. Shocker. Except we're naturally not shocked at all. Study found that people who reported consuming more conservative media were significantly less likely to be vaccinated and boosted. The researchers noted that, for example, Fox News pundit Sean Hannity told viewers at the time that COVID-19 was made up by the deep state, and then Fox business anchor Trish Reagan characterized the virus as a quote-unquote scam. Oh, the virus is a scam. That sickness that you feel, that's just trickery from the deep state. It's deep state trickery. Just ignore that, right? Not real. What? Insanity. Now, additional research found that there were significantly lower rates of vaccinations among Fox viewers under 65 after the COVID-19 vaccines were first publicly made available, which coincided with hosts like Tucker Carlson repeatedly painting the shots as both ineffective and even dangerous. Our results show that Fox News is reducing COVID-19 vaccination uptake in the United States with no evidence of the other major networks having any effect, the ETH Zurich study had concluded. There is an association between areas with higher Fox News viewership and lower vaccination. Media emphasis on minority viewpoints against scientific consensus is linked to vaccination hesitancy. So, getting back to Siegel, this is not the fault of the mandates. This is your fault. You did this. Now, I think it is funny, and the only funny thing about this is that, now you got a red state, Texas, and as well as New Mexico, that are being affected. And now, y'all are busy really trying to find out who did this, okay? When all you have to do to find that is to look in the mirror. Watch some of your past broadcasts, especially about COVID-19 vaccines, and you will see who exactly is at fault, okay? That said, I said it's funny, but it's actually no laughing matter, okay? Because this is serious, and this is harming children, okay? One has already died. Now, according to Paul Offit, who is a leading pediatrician and immunologist, saying the measles is the canary in the coal mine. And he said that while highlighting the decline in vaccination rates since COVID-19. The proportion of preschool-age children vaccinated against measles, which is mandatory, has dropped nationally from 95% in 2019 to less than 93% in 2023. Some regions show even steeper declines, such as Idaho, where rates have fallen below 80%. And a lot of that has to do with special exemptions now, or religious exemptions, or in Texas, you can just be like, I don't want it. Okay, you're exempt. And well, now this is what happens. And it's going to get worse since we have RFK Jr., who is an anti-vaxxer, in charge of Health and Human Services. Oh, crap. It's going to get much worse. In fact, Offit told Agent France Press, quote, "It is a disaster waiting to happen, and it will happen." I mean, look, it's already happening, okay? In Louisiana, for example, whooping cough has resulted in the deaths of 2 children, according to local media. As with measles, experts attribute the resurgence to vaccine exemptions. That's right. Now, Jennifer Herricks, a scientist and board member with the nonprofit Louisiana Families for Vaccines, said this is already happening. Our immunization rates are already low enough that vulnerable children are getting these diseases, because it does hit vulnerable people much, much harder, much, much more than not, and it has much more of a deadly effect. Now, here's the irony about all this, and perhaps even a slight silver lining. NBC News recently reported that parents who had previously chosen not to vaccinate their kids are now lining up to get their kids vaccinated against the measles. Wow. In fact, here is Catherine Wells, Director of Public Health for Lubbock's Health Department, saying, quote, people are more and more nervous as they watch the highly contagious virus spread in their communities, mostly among children. We've vaccinated multiple kids that have never been vaccinated before. Some are families that didn't believe in vaccines. Huh. I mean, yes, it's part. I didn't think this was going to affect me until it started affecting us. Oh no. Oops, time to go line up for that vaccine. Again, we saw some of this during COVID, where people who were like, oh, I don't need no vaccine, they got COVID. And some of them were on their deathbed begging the doctors, vaccinate me. Well, it's a little too late. Too late now. Sorry, nothing we can do. We're seeing that. Okay. Now, I'm glad that it's not, hopefully, not getting to that point. Okay, with measles, because measles is a pretty horrible disease. Okay, you don't want that. You don't want your kids to have that. Okay, and so yes, I'm glad that they're getting their children vaccinated now, but you know, there was a chance to do it earlier, and you didn't. It just kind of shows you conservative, 101. Okay. I didn't know if I didn't think it was going to affect me, but now it's affecting me, and now I'm going to do something about it. Oh my God. It's also another great example of why Fox News is not only dangerous, but watching it literally makes you dumber. All right. But the children, think of the children. One last story for y'all. By the way, if you haven't already, please like and share the stream. Consider signing up, becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, and then or you could become a member. Hit the join button below if you're watching on the live stream on YouTube. Also send super chats, super thanks, all that stuff. Really helps the show out because we need your help more than ever. As always, because there's like no money in progressive independent media. Okay, no source checks. All right, so we're barely hanging on by a thread here in the onslaught of massive right-wing media that is just steamrolling all of us and steamrolling the entire country. So, if you could help out in any way you can, I would absolutely appreciate it, because we need more independent progressive media out here doing stories like these. All right. With that said, let's talk about Javier Milei. Yeah. The president of Argentina, Javier Milei, who counts Elon Musk as a top fan, is or could be in a little bit of a hot water after pulling what is essentially a massive crypto scam that the opposition is calling fraud. So now on February 14th, Milei took to X to promote something called the Libra token, claiming that it would boost Argentina's economy by helping to fund small businesses. Yes, that's what they're doing. Yes, invest in this this meme coin, and you will help Argentina. Unsurprisingly, this didn't help. Okay, and in fact, nothing that Milei has been doing has really helped Argentina. Currently, their economy has contracted almost 2% since he took over, while the poverty rate has at one point skyrocketed to over 50%. That was in the first half of 2024. Okay. And now the most optimistic projections have the poverty rate still up by over 30%. What? Oh, wonderful. Great. Fantastic. Now that 50%, by the way, is the highest level of poverty in 20 years. And it's because Milei has basically taken and he's famous for this, a chainsaw to the administrative state. Lovely. Now, getting back to his crypto, Milei's post linked to a website featuring his slogan, "Long live freedom." Yes, long live freedom, right? And assured his 3.8 million followers on X that the world wants to invest in Argentina. Libra then went from near zero to worth almost $5 per token before crashing to under $1 within hours. So that did not last. Now, Milei had quickly deleted his post, claiming that he was unaware of the project's details. Sure. Lawyers in Argentina, however, led by Milei's political opponent, Claudio Lozano, filed more than 100 fraud complaints against the president, and an Argentine judge has now opened up an investigation. Oops. Uh-oh. He appears to have been caught up in a scam. Now, the person behind this coin, by the way, seems to have perfected the art of the scam, which would be crypto entrepreneur Hayden Davis, whose other work is the Melania coin that briefly hit a $2 billion market cap before crashing. Yeah. But Jeff, you didn't explain how this is a scam, right? I mean, it's a free market, man. What are you going to do? It's the wild, wild west of the crypto markets. No. Davis actually admitted in a video interview with CoffeeZilla, okay, that he used a practice known as sniping. What is that? Basically, it's where insiders or bots quickly buy up newly launched tokens at very, very low prices. You buy low, right? Sell high. That's before the general public can even react. Okay, which drives up demand and the price, and then they dump it, okay, at a massive profit. In regulated markets, this would be considered illegal front running. But crypto, not exactly regulated now. Okay. Now, he also named 2 organizers of Tech Forum, a Latin American tech conference, as fellow participants in the launch. Now, he admitted it and then was like, "Oh, no. Oh, I didn't mean that. I didn't do, no." And you know what? I didn't benefit from this at all. Quote, "I want to make it unequivocally clear that I have not, nor will I, take any of these funds for my personal benefit." Right. Okay. In a separate interview with Barstool Sports, he described the fiasco as an experiment that just happened to go very, very wrong. Yes, this experiment, with this crypto coin, it just went badly. It very, very badly. And you know what? My friend Milei, he's not corrupt. He's just surrounded by corrupt people, so blame them. Now, meanwhile, Barstool Sports' Dave Portnoy claimed that Davis had personally refunded him the $5 million that he lost in this Libra fiasco. Yes, I'm sure. Now, overall, 86% of the traders who bought into Libra lost their money, with the total losses reaching $251 million, according to blockchain analytics firm Nansen. Although a lucky few, I should say, did end up pocketing about $180 million. So good for them, right? Did Milei get any of that money? I don't know. Did he get money for promoting this crypto coin? I don't know. If he did, then how much did he receive? See, these are interesting questions, which, an investigation will likely have to get to the bottom of. Okay? Now, that said, here's the thing. Stuff like this, these crypto rug pulls, are going to keep happening until it becomes regulated. Okay? Now, the United States could do something about that. Okay? But the President Donald Trump, ain't. Okay? In fact, his SEC recently announced that they will be dropping the lawsuit against Coinbase, who just happened to have given Donald Trump $1 million for his inauguration and had spent $46 million trying to influence the 2024 election. That's right. And by the way, after he won, Donald Trump appointed a guy to the SEC who's a big crypto guy. Lovely. So not only that, but you had a trio of pro-crypto super PACs spending over $130 million in an effort to elect a crypto-friendly president, and members of Congress opened secrets noted in a blog post just days before the 2024 election. And they were very, very successful. They got exactly what they wanted, okay? And since taking office last month, Trump has stocked his administration with crypto enthusiasts. Catherine Armstrong Loving, the sister of Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong, has been identified as a member of the Department of Government Efficiency. Coinbase, meanwhile, brought on Trump's campaign co-manager Chris LaCivita as a member of its Global Advisory Council, according to Sludge. So yeah, lovely. Now, kind of to tie this all together with Milei, you remember Milei was recently a guest at CPAC, handing Elon Musk a chainsaw. Elon Musk, Donald Trump, the crypto bros, they want to make the US more like Argentina, where they destroy regulations, preventing not only crypto scams, but every other kind of scam. Okay, just destroy the regulations and let everyone get scammed. That's Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Got to get rid of it. Remember, that bureau, that agency got back to the taxpayers $21 billion that were scammed from them. Okay, and so, no, Trump says we got to get rid of that too. Get rid of that, deregulate everything, and promote crypto. And not only that, but Trump and Musk are planning to do massive amounts of austerity that is going to plunge the country into mass poverty while giving all the money to the rich. Just like what Milei was doing in Argentina. That was their plan. So I know they a lot of people point to Viktor Orban as, one of the people that Trump is looking up to, right? For advice or how to do this. Now that's to be an authoritarian, right? But when it comes to how they're going to run their economy, how they're going to run the government, they're actually looking more towards Argentina and Javier Milei, who again took a sledgehammer to all of their social safety net programs, completely destroying them, crushing them, or using the chainsaw and shredding them. And then, while, also giving all this money to the rich and deregulating all the industry. That's exactly what the plan is. It has always been the plan. And the American people, if they're not screwed over by crypto, are going to be screwed over in the Republican Party's latest round of cuts. Disastrous. I did do a segment, by the way, saying that they want to turn, this was before the election, that they're going to try to turn the United States into Argentina under Milei. And so far, I'm batting 100, okay, which is not good. I don't want to be right. Sometimes I hate being right because I'm always right about bad things, okay? So that sucks. It sucks. But that's where we're at, okay? That's where we're at.
Who's got a hammer?
Oh, I should have used that. I don't know why I didn't think about it. But anyway, all right. So that's the show today. Hopefully I have not depressed you too much, but have informed you to the best of my ability, and that so that we can continue this fight, fight against this fascist government takeover. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you all for listening, watching, etc. Please remember to like and share the stream if you haven't already. consider becoming a member or a patron. Or if you already are a patron and you're listening to this, thank you for signing up and supporting independent, progressive media in this incredibly dark and difficult time. All right, everybody. Thank you all. Love you, and we will see you again later on. Oh, and one more thing before I go. Will this be a regular time? We'll see what happens. Okay. I'm going to try for 2 o'clock Eastern, but there might be days where I'm late. So I will do my best to make it on time. All right. Anyway, thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow.